This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So again, when you're trying to place in the industry, I suggest you is like work more compared to others. You should put more effort. You should debug more, such that you will be able to place with an experience. And in industry, you don't face an issue. Okay, so there is no wrong in that. As most of us know, present IT from past 5 to 6 years, they want only is experienced. So freshers only nowadays they started boost up from 6 months. So when we want to get into that particular, we have to do according to the company standards. We have to do some
Okay.
zigzags. Okay, right. Any other? Okay. So now let's start up. Okay. First of all, what is VLSI? Or let's say first, what is IC? Don't tell me integrated chip. Other than that, what is an IC? Let's say what is the definition of IC? If anyone is not trying to speak or answer, please mute yourself.
Integrated circuit. Sir.
Yeah, other than that, what exactly is an integrated circuit?
We are designing circuit for the specific application.
That is ASIC. The term will be termed as ASIC. So, but again, in that also you are using the term integrated circuit. I want the exact information for the integrated circuit.
Sir, it is thousands of transistors integrated in one place, something like that.
Right. So we are going to be adding some thousands or lakhs of transistor into a smaller area. So that we are terming it as integrated circuit. So most commonly, if any one of you doesn't know, in your labs, you will be using is like microprocessor labs, right? So you are using one kind of processor circuit. It will be in a black color and it will be having 64 pins, 128 pins, like that. You will be having some device and you will just program that. So inside that particular processor we are telling, right, it will be having millions of transistors. Okay, inside that particular processor we will be having different circuitry. So each circuitry may be available in the format of chips. Okay, so basically an integrated circuit means, it's by the term itself is like integrated. So we are integrating multiple transistors into a single area. That means smaller area. It's not the same transistor which we are using in our particular labs. It will be a very, very minute nanometer based circuitry. That's what we are going to be using it in the ICs. Okay. Clear for everyone? So now, based on the development, okay, let's say like multiple transistors into a single. Multiple transistors into a single area, into a smaller area, we are telling it's like an IC. Now, according to the development of IC, okay, according to the development of IC, we have different terms. Yes, like SSI, LSI, sorry, MSI, LSI, VLSI, ULSI. So like that, we are having different terms. Yes or no? Have you heard these particular terms?
You sorry, baby.
Hello, Nitya, you are unmuted. Could you mute yourself? Thank you so much. So, development of ICT. Have you heard these terms? SSI, MSI, LSI. Guys, is anyone trying to speak?
Small scale integrated.
Yeah.
Where ICs are fabricated within 100 gates like that, no sir. Small scale, that means.
Yes, that's correct. Harish, you are having is like background noise with a huge. Yeah. So next is like large scale integration. Very large scale. So based on the technology nodes, whichever we are using, the terms SSI, MSI, LSI, or let's say the now, what is the difference in this?
Transistors that are
Yeah,
integrated.
correct. The number of transistors present in each and every level is getting changed. So as you said, when we are talking about basic gates, okay, when we are talking about basic gates, you will be having the terms like SSI coming into the picture, which will be having is like less than 100 transistors. Example is less than 100 transistors, and the example is logic gates. Okay, next MSI. MSI will be having the above 100 greater than 100 and less than 1000. That means in the range 100 to 1000 transistors, if it is present, we will be terming it as MSI. Now, I won't go in depth of each and every terms. So it's just like each and every part, as you have just recently. Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, coming to this particular each and every terminology, SSI, MSI, we are going to be using the amount of transistor levels is getting varied. So we'll just write out all the parts and then we will be moving forward. VLSI should be having 1000 to so now coming to this particular part, according to the type of circuitry which we are trying to implement. Okay, according to the circuitry which we are trying to implement, the terminology which we are going to be using is different. So for example, whenever we are talking about the term called as processors, okay, whenever we are going to be talking about the term of process with 32-bit or 62-bit processors, we are going to be using the term called as VLSI. Okay, VLSI. Now, so at each and every stages in our particular industry, we are going to be implementing that particular transistors. So now there is a question, as there is a transistor increase inside that particular area, will my area of the chip be increased? So initially, let's say I'm having is in this particular area, I'm implementing a logical gate. Okay, I'm implementing a logical gate. By using this multiple logic gates, I'm going to be implementing MSI. So for MSI, will I have more area compared to SSI, or will I have same area as SSI, or will I have less area? So in what case we will be having it? So there is a term called as technology node. Okay, there is a term called as technology node. Okay, by using this particular technology node, the area of that particular circuit is dependent. Okay, for each and every circuit which we are having, for each and every gate, it is dependent on this particular technology node. The lower the technology node, the smaller the area. The answer is always based on the technology node, the area of the circuit is dependent. Okay, and also the amount of circuit which you want to implement. Okay, if it's a processor, yes, it's going to be taking a more area, and if it's case, less area. Okay, based on that particular transistor count, there will be only a slight increase in the area, not huge. Slight increase in the areas. Okay, clear so far? Any questions?
Vishal, a small question. By technology node, do we mean by that this 180 nanometer, 90 nanometer like that?
Yeah, so that is what we are telling is like technology node. So
Okay.
now coming to that particular part, in our particular CMOS circuit, or let's say basic NMOS or PMOS, we have is like drain to source distance. That's where your current gets passed and your circuit gets data passing, everything will be taken care when there is a connection channel between drain to source. Yes, one second. So let's consider a basic NMOS or PMOS. Is this how your body drain source? Okay, is this how your CMOS circuit will be present? Schematic. Will you draw in this particular methodology? Yes or no? Oh, sorry, NMOS or PMOS. It's not CMOS actually. NMOS or PMOS, you will be drawing with respect to this kind of similar case. Yes, please reply something here.
Yes, yes. So by the channel length, we mean like distance between drain and source, right?
Yeah. So the distance between this particular drain to source is going to be giving the term called as technology node, in which you have said is like few terms, right? 180 nanometer, 90 nanometer, 7 nm. So all this particular is going to be telling the distance between this particular drain to source only.
Okay.
Okay. So the second order effects. Oh, okay. So we'll go slowly one by one. So not in depth indirectly. So presently, as I have taken the term about the technology node, the technology node is dependent on this particular drain to source distance. Now, similarly, okay, when we are going with the lower technology nodes, the distance between this particular drain to source is very less. So when the drain to source distance is getting very less, what happens? The channel between this particular drain to source formation can be controlled by the gate. When you're bringing closer to n plus and n plus, the channel formed between, can I control that, or will it become difficult?
Up to a certain extent, we can reduce the length, but after some time, pinch off occurs.
All right. So pinch off, yeah. So with a small minute charge itself, what happens? My drain to source, the channel will be formed. Okay, with a small charge itself, my channel will be formed. So I may not be able to, when I'm going with respect to the lower technology node, as the distance is getting reduced, with a small current, I am able to form that particular channel. So what happens? The controlling of that particular circuitry will become difficult for me. With respect to the gate, I may not be able to control the circuit. Now what happens because of that, as I'm not able to control the circuit, the tool will try to act on its own. It give me some wrong predictions, or let's say wrong values. The functionality of it might change. So that's the reason why, as the technology node is getting reduced, instead of using a CMOS circuit, we are now using a circuit called as FinFET. Instead of CMOS, we are going to be using a term called as FinFET. Okay, so what does this particular FinFET means is, okay, what does this particular FinFET means is, it will be having is multi-gated registers, sorry, multi-gated transistors. So in between this particular drain to source, there will be a pie-shaped gate getting formed. Okay, so now what happens when we are trying to use FinFET? The controlling of the circuit is still in our particular hands. Okay, clear for everyone so far? All right, so I'm just erasing, moving forward. So most commonly in our particular industries, like below 10 nm, we are trying to implement is with the help of FinFET rather than using CMOS technology. Okay, FinFET technology is preferred rather than using the CMOS. So the only factor is like, when we are using FinFET, the cost factor increases. The manufacturing of the cost increases. As multiple gate needs to be introduced, we need to make sure like cost also has to come into the picture. Each and every factor will try to play a role. Okay, so now the earlier explanation which I am providing, right, that is like as the technology node reduces, okay, as the technology node reduces, the channel will be formed quickly and the controlling of that particular CMOS will become difficult, that we will be terming it as dibble. Okay, dibble, drain induced barrier low. Okay, the previous explanation which I was providing you, the exact term for that is dibble. Okay, clear? If it's clear, can I move forward?
Yes, you can move forward.
Right. So now we are going to be talking about VLSI, or let's say any IC related we are going to be talking. So previously when I was asking about IC, there was a term called as ASIC coming into the picture. Application specific IC. I'm not writing it fully, integrated circuit. Now, what does this mean by application specific integrated circuit? We are, okay, we are going to be designing an IC, okay, we are going to be designing an IC to perform a particular task. Okay, it has no other features, so it's like you switch on, I'll just lit up the light. It has only that particular task, it has no other applications, okay, or let's say no other features developed. So we will be terming it as application specific integrated circuit. That means it works only for a particular application. So now there is one more term called as SOC, which terms is like silicon on chip. Okay, or let's say you will be terming it as system on chip. Either of it, it's correct. Silicon on chip or system on chip. One second, guys. Because there is a particular student who is having an issue with respect to the audio connectivity, and I can see her name got duplicated. So I'm trying to remove all. I'm not able to pronounce that as well. Um, okay, so what I have just done is like there are multiple duplications. So I have just removed that particular duplications. So hope so she might get a chance to hear that. Okay, all right. Kumar will just again when we I'll touch that again, because as I have moved little bit forward, I'll touch about first is like ASIC flow and SOC, and after that I'll explain about all that particular debug again. Okay. Now coming to this particular ASIC or SOC, so it means that we are going to be developing a chip. Okay, we are going to be developing a chip in a manner that we are going to be using it for different circuitry as well. So application specific, that means let's say for RAM memory, so that those are application specific. So RAM means what it is trying to do, what the RAM is trying to do. What is the purpose of a RAM?
It holds temporary
The data.
information or data about current task that is happening.
Right. So in other terms, it boosts up the performance of your design, or let's say of your application. Am I correct? Based on your RAM, the number of processes which you want to run is dependent on the RAM. So if higher the RAM, more number of process you can be able to perform. And also you can work on with like multi high graphical based applications like GTFI, or let's say uh, Assassin's Creed. So like that, multiple gamings and all you can be able to work on with it, right? So based on that particular RAM, that is again specific dependent. So when we are talking about memory, it is used to store your memory. So whatever you are trying to save some documents, everything will be stored into that particular memory. Where you will be telling is like cache memory and SDD or SSD. So like that, you have different terms based on the type of memory circuit which you are using. You are developing is like different parts. So memory is related. So that is again specific. So combining of all this particular application specific related circuits, you are developing one motherboard. For example, consider your laptop itself, where again keyboard, it is trying to just press, when you press a key, it is trying to pass a number into your motherboard one circuit, and from there it is passing to another. So like that, based on that, internally it is performing a circuit, and based on the key which you present, or let's say touch, it is trying to give you that particular character over there. So let's say if I'm pressing application specific means for a particular task. So when I'm typing it, it is just pressing that, displaying the keywords over there. So combining of all this particular application specific task, we will be getting is like SoC, system on chip. That's your final product, where you will be presenting this particular product to the customer. Okay, clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, to develop this particular, let's say for a particular task, combination of ASIC. Okay, combination of ASIC, multiple ASICs. Now, coming to the next level, that is like to this particular development of ASIC or SoC, we are going to be using a similar flow. There is no change in that. So to that particular development of ASIC, what is the procedure which we are going to be using? How we are going to be developing the ASIC? Okay, so let's say initially, for most of us, everyone goal is to build a house. Okay, most probably everyone's task is to build a house. After we earn some income, we have to have our own house. Now to get that particular own house, initially what will be your thinking? That is like, first information I require is like idea, or let's say specifications. Okay, first thing I need is idea or specifications. So when I'm talking about idea or specifications, so what exactly do I mean? Let's say with respect to your house itself, what exactly do you mean by that particular idea or specification?
Number
For
of
a house,
floors or rooms.
Number of rooms. Next, water, power, whether the area is pure or sorry, whether the air is pure or not. All that you will try to check. Major is this three, right? Sorry, area, four terms. Area, air, power, and water. This four is the major requirements for you. All right. So when we are talking about ICs, okay, when we are talking about ICs or application specific related, the idea or specifications will be provided in majorly three different terms: area, power, timing. Okay, area, power, timing, which also indicates when I'm talking about timing, the frequency, working frequency of the chip. Okay, frequency of the chip. So for example, you're buying a phone. Okay, you're buying a phone. While you're buying a phone, what exactly you will try to look for the gaming purpose? Let's say when we are talking about gaming purpose, what exactly are your requirements?
Sir, battery.
Sorry,
Processor, battery,
right? And
graphics.
for your phone, do you require graphics? So basically, I heard here is like two terms. First one is your processor, and the second one is your battery lifetime. So while talking about that particular processor also, you will try to look exactly, is it an octa core or quad core, and what is the operating frequency, whether it is 1.2 gigahertz or 2.4 gigahertz. And also at the same time, you will look into that particular display refresh rate as well, whether it is 60 hertz or 90 hertz or 120 hertz. The refresh rate also you will try to look into it. Each and every specification you will try to look, and based on that you are trying to buy your phone. Now coming to that particular understanding itself, now basic understanding is like, as the, let's say, processor level is getting increased and the battery lifetime is getting increased, is your phone size getting reduced or increased?
do you repeat?
Yeah, so nowadays as we are talking about gaming processor phones, or let's say any phones which is like more lifetime and more processors, is your phone size getting reduced or increased?
Increased.
Reduce, sir.
Sorry,
Increased.
increased, right? So that means if we are giving importance to only one factor, then we have to be flexible with the other two. That means if I want to achieve one thing, I have to give less priority to the remaining two tasks. I need to give priority, but that will be not that much priority. That's why I have taken the example of gaming phones itself. So as I'm trying to perform with a gaming phone, my first priority will always be performance, and the remaining two, area and power, I will be little bit with flexibility. If it gives me 8 hours charge also, yes, I'm fine with that. Okay, so like that, we have to be with little bit flexibility according to what criteria you get. So that's why idea and specifications to be perfect. Okay, clear so far? Now, after getting this idea and specifications, will I be able to implement my design directly? If I get the idea or specifications, will I be able to implement directly? Okay. Similar to that task, let me ask a question. So how many of you are good in coding, or how many of you are good in performing and circuitry level designs? Is anyone? I heard that, I think so, Gibbon, I think so you're, if my pronunciation is wrong, I'm sorry. You're from
Hello.
coding, right?
No, no, my profile is not like coding here. I do like a system administrator kind of task.
Okay, so perfect. So when there is some kind of issue you are getting, so what exactly will be your first step?
Uh, Once I get a issue, I will check for the details. If it
Right.
is an OS related issue, we used to log in the as a OS user and check for the log files,
Okay. Right.
and
So
I will
that is like
troubleshoot on that.
yeah. So I'm stopping in the first step itself. So first, as soon as you get an idea of, sorry, as soon as you get an issue, the first thing you are trying to do is like getting the details of it. So similarly, here also when I'm trying to get a specification, what I will try to look into is how do I detail it? It's just giving like an idea. I want to develop a chip which is working at 2.4 gigahertz, and the working of it is so and so is giving. It's like a raw idea is implemented. From that particular raw idea, the next step will be provided to an architect team. Okay, the next thing I will be passing it to architect team, and in that particular architect, he will try to make it in a detailed way. Okay, he will try to develop it in a detailed way. So that's how, that means each and every category he will try to implement. Okay, how that particular chip can be implemented, and where voltages, sorry, the power can be consumed, where different clocks can be defined, and everything will be designed in this particular architect. That means detail. Okay, detail. That means your idea is also converted to flow chart. In simple terms, your idea is converted to a flow chart methodology. So simple, if anyone is good in coding or anything, if you're comfortable, initially when you get an idea, what you will try to do, you will try to write it in the format of flowchart. From that particular flowchart, you will try to implement the code. So the next team goes to RTL designers. The RTL designers, we will convert the flowchart to behavioral code. Okay, I'm just giving you the full idea of the ASIC. Okay, such that based on that we can be able to choose. So flowchart to behavioral code, the RTL designers will be performing. So now as I have implemented that particular behavioral code, what will be the next task? I should verify. Okay, I should verify.
ಮಾಡು ನೀನೇನ್
Nitya,
ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಿ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು.
why are you? Do you have any question? Excuse me, Nitya.
ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು ನಾನು ಗೌರಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಗೌರಿ ಜೊತೆ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್
I think so. There is a problem with her device. So coming to formal verification. So in this particular formal verification, it's like with respect to certain test code, okay, with respect to certain test codes, your behavioral code will be cross-checked whether it is following the specifications provided or not. That means here my major focus will be with respect to the functionality. Okay, functionality related prospect, whether it is following each and every part or not. Clear? So now with respect to that particular functionality, I'm cross-checking it. Okay, formal verification, test code generation, test code and okay. So now comes the difference between functional verification and formal verification. So in formal verification, we are trying to check that particular behavioral code is properly written or not. That means like there is syntax errors. Okay, syntax errors. Everything we will try to check it. Okay, try to check it in that particular formal verification by using the tools called as UVM. I'm pretty much not sure. I think so by using some codes like UVM and multiple algorithms, they will try to check that. And coming to this particular functional verification, you will try to cross check is like the functionality of that particular code. Okay, functional verification will be done using the functionality of that particular code will be checked. Now coming to that particular functionality verification, you will be using the tools called as LEC, sorry, formality or conformal. For functional verification, we will be using the tools like formality and conformal. We'll also term it as LEC. Okay, so once that particular code is checked, okay, once I have checked that particular code, the next step I'll try to do is with respect to the code written, okay, with respect to the code written, I'll try to perform is like uh, timing constraints, timing constraints, uh, DFT and CLP. So with respect to the RTL code which we have written, it's not or Okay, with respect to the RTL code which we have written, we are going to be writing the timing constraints. DFT, in DFT stage, we are going to be writing is scan chain. Okay, scan chains. And next is CLP, that means conformal low power. DFT means design for testability. CLP means conformal low power. Okay, so timing constraints, DFT, CLP. So like that, we have few more checks and a few more stages getting written before our main flow starts. So till the stage which we are performing, okay, till that particular stage which we are performing is like all with respect to the behavioral code, or let's say it's all logical related only, and it is independent of the technology. Okay, it is independent of the technology. So after this particular, so that we will be terming it as so far front end. Okay, so far this is your front end flow. So coming next is your back end flow. That's where your technology dependent designs will be started. Okay, you will be starting with respect to your technology dependent, and you will be trying to start optimizing your designs. Okay, optimization of the designs will be started. Okay, now the next part is synthesis. Okay, synthesis and PNR, sorry, floor plan. Oh, sorry, I should write is like physical design, and next is sign off, uh, chip, post silicon validation, and next is your test. Okay, so synthesis, from the synthesis stage, you will be starting with respect to the back end flow. Okay, we will be starting with respect to the back end flow. In synthesis, you will be converting the behavioral code to the gate level. And next, physical design, uh, converting the, what to say, information in the file format to the physical format, or let's make it like logical to physical. Okay, conversion of logical to physical. Now next is sign off, verification again. So what all verifications will touch that? Chip will be manufactured, cross verification, and then if everything is passed, then we will give it to the customer. Okay, so now first question. So till the front end flow, is everyone clear? Do anyone have any questions?
Hello, it's a small question. This synthesis will come as part of front end or back end?
It comes as a part of backend.
Okay.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions? Can I move forward? If no one has questions so far till the front end. So now I'll just touch little more advanced in that is a front end related. That means let's touch about the timing constraints. So in timing constraints, okay, in timing constraints, we are going to be, okay, we are going to be deciding the frequency of the chip. So let's say you have given the frequency, right? The customer has said that it has to be working in so and so frequency. So all the frequency related, okay, frequency of the chip related information, first it will be passed through the timing constraints file. Okay, so frequency of the circuit, okay, frequency of the circuit, and also few of the timing exceptions, okay, few of the timing exceptions. I'm not going to be touching that in detail because that will be coming into a term called as STA. Okay, STA. So static timing analysis. Okay, STA comes under the term of static timing analysis. In that we are going to be in depth of that particular concepts. It's just like first remember like frequency, timing exceptions, whether so timing exceptions is like whether the path needs to be analyzed or not. Okay, you just can keep a term like whether the path can be analyzed or not and how many cycles is required to analyze that particular path. Related information will be passed through timing exceptions. Okay, timing exceptions. First concept is like whether the path should be analyzed or not. Second one, how many cycles is required to analyze that particular path, to analyze a particular path. Okay, timing exceptions and delays. Okay, so delays, there are multiple delays. Input delay, output delay, IO delay, sorry, max delay, min delay, like that we have different terminologies. So all that particular related information will be passed through this particular timing constraints file. So timing constraints, the extension will be in the format of .sdc or .mcmm. So in this particular extension, you will be having that particular SDC timing constraints getting dumped. And also in few cases, you can have with the format of tickle file also. Tickle means tool command language. So SDC full form is synopsis design constraints. And MCMM means multi corner multi mode. And TCL means tool command language. Okay, in either of the file or combination of the formats will be used to develop this particular timing constraints. Okay, clear? Next, DFT. So, as most of you are graduates, okay, are graduates. So, for them, I'm asking a question. Have you heard about the terms called as stuck at 0, stuck at 1, ATPG, JTAG, MBIST? All that, have you heard about the terms? Yes. So, what are those used for? What exactly are you trying to check from that particular terms? Stuck at 0, stuck at 1, MBIS, JTAG, all that. What is the purpose of that? Any guesses? So, or let's say by the term itself, designed for testability, could you link it and let me know what exactly it is trying to check? Anyone, just give a guess. There is no wrong in that.
Giving a guess, like suppose there is like a fault like stuck at 1. In DFT, we add an extra logic to correct it.
All right.
Like
And good, good. So, as per your guess, I'm just modifying that. The guess is correct, but a small modification is required. So, that stuck at 0 or stuck at 1, I will be able to find it and verify it using this particular DFT stage. Okay, for this particular DFT checks and everything, there is a term called as scan chain. Okay, there is a term getting implemented called as scan chain. So in this particular scan chain, it is a back-to-back flop connections. Okay, scan chain is a back-to-back flop connections. Okay, which is used to test the functionality of the uh, design, which is used to test the functionality of the design. That is like which I've took some names, right? Whether there is any stuck at 0, stuck at 1, and also those particular checks will be done by using the ATPG or MBIST algorithms. Okay, MBIST algorithms. Okay, so this particular scan chains, when it is passing, it means that your functionality of the chip is also going to be passing. Okay, functionality of the chip is also going to be passing. Clear? Now, so scan chain, first part. Say a DFT team, with respect to your behavioral code, okay, with respect to your behavioral code, the DFT team will modify that particular behavioral code slightly. Okay, will modify that particular behavioral code slightly for the insertion of the modules. Okay, for the insertion of the modules required by the DFT team. That means as of now I said, right, controller circuits, ATPG, MBIST, or all that particular requires some kind of controller circuits. So for the insertion of that, the DFT team will try to insert it in your default codes. Okay, in your default codes. Now that first part is like slight modification in your RTL code. Along with it, they will try to implement this particular scan chain in your RTL. Sorry, there will be a separate script to develop this particular scan chain. Okay, and they will be implemented into your design. Okay, into your design. So this is also one of an important file into your PD. So in the format of scanf. Sorry, in here they will try to give you in the format of tickle, and the output of synthesis will be having a scanf. That will be again an input or scanf after synthesis. Okay, scan chain information will be present. Now, okay, they will try to implement that particular algorithms, and they'll just it's used for the testing for the functionality of the design. Okay, again I'm telling it is used for testing the functionality of the design. Clear so far? Now, similarly, I have written here one more algorithm, sorry, one more step, that is CLP. Okay, now CLP by the term itself, low power. Okay, by the term itself, low power. That means power consumption reduction techniques will be provided through this particular low power inputs. Power consumption reduction techniques. Okay, power consumption reduction techniques will be passed through this particular CLP team. Okay, different teams will be working for you to get that particular required inputs and everything. There will be different teams. So from that you will be getting all that particular required, and you will be converting all the information into your physical format. Is it clear for everyone so far? Okay, now so RTL sign off. So there is one more stage in between, or let's say before synthesis, or let's say once all the front end part is completed. Okay, once all the front end part is completed, I need to verify everything is correct or not. Says that when I go to the next step, I should not see any issue. Okay, when I go to the next step, that means in the synthesis, I should not see any issue because the runtime of it is large. Okay, it takes more runtime to complete one particular task. So that's why it has to be verified before going into the next steps. Okay, before going into the next steps, I need to verify that. So that's why there will be an RTL sign off team where all this what we have done, okay, all what we have done will be cross-checked. Guys, just give me a second. Sorry, there was a call. So there will be checks like linting, CDC, again CLP, timing constraints related. Let's take it like STA. So there will be different checks before giving the inputs for us. Okay, before providing the inputs to the next team, there should be always a check going ahead. Okay, there should be always a check. If you are passing an input to the next team, verify it whether everything is correct or not. Because what happens is in real industry, if they find an input, or let's say if they find an error with respect to one of a file, they will just ask a question: what are you doing? Okay, in a team of 10 to 20 members, in front of them itself, they will try to ask a question: what are you doing? Without checking the input. Okay, without checking the outputs, or let's say without checking the quality of the files. Why are you sending the files to us? I've said it in a good way, but take it in an awkward way. Okay, that's what they will try to ask. So it is required that cross check each and every output before sending it to the next team. Okay, so similarly, the RTL designers will try to verify that by using different flows, and then they will try to pass it to the next team. So linting makes sure that the behavioral, so it's a check to verify the code. That means the behavioral code is synthesizable or not. It checks that particular task. And in linting stage also, that means the tool which we are going to be using, it can be used in different ways. So linting to verify that particular behavioral code is synthesizable or not. So CDC means clock domain crossing. That means whenever we are talking about our design, okay, whenever we are going to be talking about our design, we will be making sure is like, okay, there are multiple clocks used in our particular designs. Okay, that is each and every module will be having different frequencies. Might have, might have different frequencies for working of it. So according to that, different clocks are defined. Okay, whether the clocks, okay, whether the data communication between the different clocks is proper or not. In CDC, they will try to verify that. Okay, the data passing from one clock domain to another clock domain is proper or not, will be cross-checked in the CDC team. Again here, to verify the data passing from Okay, that will be the check done in the CDC. In CLP, we will try to check is the data passing from one voltage domain to another is proper or not. In in STA, timing constraints. To verify SDC, the behavior. It won't be behavioral code with the gate level. Okay. Again, they have their internal algorithm. So what they will do is they will just try to convert the RTL to gate level, and they'll just to verify STC file. STA RTL sign off, they will try to just do that particular part. Conversion of RTL to gate level without any kind of high optimization methods and everything. And they will try to cross check that particular SDC file which has been developed. Clear so far? Yes, this is a PD demo session. So in which we are started with respect to what is an IC, and we have started about the ASIC flow. Okay, so directly touching only PD flow, it's not a correct way. So that's why we have started with respect to the ASIC flow. Okay, clear so far for everyone? Any questions? So front end part is clear for everyone? Okay. No.
Hello. It's a small doubt.
Yeah.
This STA, the same time we can find in backend flow also, right? So both we call
Yes.
as STA only, right?
Yes. So the
Okay.
terms will be like RTL sign off STA, pre-layout STA, post-layout STA.
Okay.
Uh, Simple to say. Coming to the next question. Coming to the Kumar's question. That is like his physical design stuff or front-end stuff is based on how you feel that particular task is difficult. Coming to my case, for me, the backend is easy because I have worked hard into that particular task. Backend is very easy for me. When I talk about front end, it's difficult for me because it comes into the part of coding, behavioral code, and everything, and I'm not very good in that, so it's difficult for me. It's based on how you feel. It will be difficult. Uh, so I'll come to that. I'll suggest you which one is good, which one is difficult. So DFT, it plays a part in all these particular stages. So initially, the DFT will be in the part of front end, okay, and also the checks will be done after your synthesis and also after your physical design. So it also plays in all the tasks. So this timing constraints, DFT, CLP, functional verification, all that will be checked at each and every stage. Oh, what Bluetooth connection problem, yaar? I don't understand that. Are you talking about internet connection or Bluetooth? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by Bluetooth connection. Okay, clear for everyone so far? Physical design is backend. So I said right, from your synthesis, it's your backend. So if front end is clear, we'll try to take a break of 15 minutes and then we will start again because I'm continuously shouting. I just want some next. Okay, so first question again, front end clear for everyone? If yes, we'll take a break of 15 minutes and then we'll continue about the backend. And for that particular backend, what all subjects, everything, once I covered this subject, I'll give you the guidelines. You can ask questions, I'll give you the guidelines. Okay. So if you ask now itself, it will be kind of confused state. So we'll first touch up and then you can ask the questions. Okay. So we'll be back at 11:15. Okay, we'll take a break of 15 minutes and then we'll be back. Hello everyone. Hope so everyone is back. Okay, we'll just see for 2 more minutes. I can see people are still joining. Hi everyone. So far we have covered as in the ASIC flow, the front end perspective we have covered. So now we are going to be entering into the back end. Okay, we are now going to enter into this back end flow. So when we are going to be talking about back end, so the major terminologies which you will be hearing is synthesis to sign off stage. Okay, we will be hearing is synthesis to sign off. Sorry. So as we are staying in PG, so they will be coming for some checks. Yeah. So we were discussing as synthesis flow. So in synthesis backend related, we were started the discussion. So in that particular backend, we are starting the discussion about synthesis. So in synthesis, what exactly we are going to do is convert the behavioral code to a gate level code. Okay, that means gate level netlist. I'll make it more proper. Behavioral code to gate level netlist. That means how does a behavioral code look? Module. Let's make it AB, A1, A2, Y. So I'm just writing as like a basic code. Input A1, A2. If there are any syntax errors, please bear with me because I'm not a very good RTL designer. So with respect to what I know, I'm writing it. Output Y and assign Y equal to 1 and 8. So this is how basically your behavioral code looks. So each and every statement in the format of some kind of syntax you will be providing. So now when we are talking about gate level netlist, in the same code, instead of having the assigned keywords, okay, instead of having the assigned keywords, you will be having is gates. You will be directly defined and of A1, A2, Y. So dot A1 of A1, A2 of A2, dot Y of. So in other terms, it's like conversion of non-technology dependent file to a technology dependent file. Okay. So the gate level netlist will be a technology dependent file. Output is technology dependent file. So for this particular conversion and to make this particular output as a technology dependent files, okay, conversion of this particular behavioral code to a gate level netlist and to make it a technology dependent file, we require is inputs. To perform this particular task, synthesis to PD or let's say common files, input files will be present between synthesis and PD. So there will be some input files. First one will be your behavioral code RTL file, behavioral code in the format of .v, .sv, .vht. So in any of these particular formats, your RTL code will be passed through the synthesis. Okay. So behavioral code input will be provided and also timing constraints file, timing constraints, UPF. So we are telling is like CLP, right? The CLP will be having the extension of UPF file. Okay. The first thing is UPF, in which the power related intent information will be present. Unified power format. And next is your scan setup.tcl and library files. So when we are talking about the basics of synthesis, okay, when we are talking about basics of synthesis, we will be having is all this particular required input files. Okay, based on this particular input files, the synthesis will be performed. Okay, that means the conversion of behavioral code to the gate level netlist. That means this AND gate information will be picked up from this particular library file. Okay, all this particular to which particular gate it has to be converted. Okay, which gate to be used, what is the syntax, everything will be picked up from this particular library file. Okay, clear for everyone? Now the output file will be having from the synthesis, the outputs will be your gate level netlist, that will be in only one format, that is your .v, and next your scan chain information in the format of scanf, and .stc, your timing constraints information, and also UPF file. So initially the inputs, everything we are writing will be with respect to the behavioral code. Okay, will be with respect to the behavioral code. Now, to the output of that particular synthesis tool will be with respect to your gate level codes. Okay, clear so far? So, what to tell us, what is tools used? Tools used is your design compiler or genus. So design compiler is provided by Synopsys, and in our particular labs, we are going to be developing with respect to the design compiler only. So genus is Cadence. So the biggest two competitors is like Synopsys and Cadence. So for synthesis, we are going to be using its respective tools. Now, coming to the next. So synthesis is all about conversion. So in procedure, I'll just give us like the synthesis flow. I won't touch in detail of it. So that will be explained during the, when we go in depth of theoretical and everything, we'll just go in depth of it. Procedure, it will be running in 3 different stages: analyze, elaborate, and compile. Okay, 3 different stages it will be running. So I won't touch in depth. So this is your basic part of your synthesis. Now coming to the physical design. Okay, coming to the physical design, the major, okay, is like PD flow. Okay, in PD flow, we will be having a floor plan. Sorry, let's make it like design planning or import design. Next comes your floor plan. I'll make it one. Floor plan and power plan. Placement. CTS. Route. Okay. So this is about your PD flow. So in PD flow, the first is like all the inputs which we, all the outputs of the synthesis stage. Okay. All the outputs of synthesis stage will be passed as input to your synthesis. Okay. We are going to be having is first is design planning or import design stage, where we will be loading all the required inputs to the physical design tool. Okay, physical design tool. Now, coming to that particular perspective, okay, coming to that particular perspective, when we have a big design, okay, when we have a very big design, and if we are not able to implement it by a single physical design owner, if that particular design is not cannot be implemented, we can divide the logic here as well. Okay, we can decide here as well. Okay, we can plan it. So that's why we said it's like design planning. Now, loading of the inputs and checks will be done. So next in floor plan stage, you will be deciding the area of the chip, or let's say area of the design which you are performing, and you will try to place some cells inside that particular floor plan. Okay, that cells will be calling it as macros. Okay, cells are your circuits. Okay, cells are kind of your circuits which will be divided into two terms majorly, your macros and standard cells. Okay, macros and standard cells. So in the macros category, which will be having the biggest building blocks in your design. Okay, the bigger building blocks in your design. That means, for example, your RAMs, ROMs, memory circuits, IP, intellectual properties, all that will be coming under the terms of macros. Okay, all that will be coming under the term macros. Okay, now coming to the next part. So deciding the deciding the area of the design and how the power needs to be distributed. Okay, how the power needs to be distributed is kept into this particular power plan. Deciding the area of the design, placing the macros, and power distribution is done in this particular floor plan and power plan stages. In placement stage, placing the standard cells into the core area. Okay, placing the standard cells into the core area. So everything I'll try to show it into a pictorial. I'll try to draw it and show it. I'm just touching each and every part right now. Okay. Now, next is CTS, where CTS means clock tree synthesis. Okay, clock tree synthesis, where the clocks which you have defined will be propagated. Okay, clock propagation. Let's make it like clock tree building and propagation of the clocks is done in the CTS stage. So in routing stage, all the virtual connections will be made into a physical format. Okay, into a physical format. Routing means virtual connections, virtual connections to physical, sorry, into which physical connections. Okay, so this is a basic idea of your PD flow. Any questions so far?
One question in the industry projects, how it will be like different teams for each step,
No, PD flow is done by a single person.
single person.
Yeah. So based on the project and cost of the project, you sometimes you will be performing from synthesis to sign off as a single person.
Okay.
At required times, you will be getting some support.
Okay.
Okay. So it's based on easier task only. You don't need to. If the project length is high, then you might get some extra support as well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So this is about your
Sir,
physical.
hello.
Yeah, Ankit.
Sir, can you explain once again CTS?
Yeah. So I will touch everything in kind of a diagrammatical method right now, such that we will be getting more knowledge of it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So first one, let's go one by one. So yeah, any other questions you guys want to ask? Okay. Now, first question is like, okay, first we'll try to cover off the PD flow, and according to what I'm going to touch, we'll try to see which one is easy, which one you're comfortable. I'll try to tell everything. Now, so first one is import design. So once all the required inputs of your design is loaded, okay, all the required inputs for your design is loaded. So what all inputs are required for us? The outputs of synthesis. So that is gate level netlist. Sorry, 1 second. gate level netlist, timing constraints, scanf, power plan dot tickle. Okay, let's not mention this right now. Scanf, power spec, CTS spec, NDM dot lib and dot left dot tf dot tdmp dot tdf. I won't touch all the input files. I'm a little bit of selfish. Okay, so that's like because if we touch the inputs everything one by one, it's going to be taking a longer time. So that's why I won't be touching that particular inputs. So when we get internal to this particular physical design flow and everything in the basics part, we will be touching everything in detail. Okay. Now, so once. Okay, so gate level netlist, timing constraints, scanf, power spec, CTS spec, NDM, that means your libraries, technology file, TLUP, and your TDF. So these are the some of the inputs required for your physical design to be started. Okay, physical design to be started. So once you have loaded all the inputs into your tool, okay, into your tool, we will be having is first case area decision. So in that particular area decision, you will also decide the shape of your chip. Okay, the shape of your design also gets decided during this particular uh, design into that particular floor plan. So once all the inputs are loaded, the next stage will be your floor plan stage. So in that particular floor plan stage, we will be having is shape of the chip as well as the area of the chip will be decided, or let's keep it like design. Area of the design and shape of the design gets decided in that particular floor plan stage. So make it like different colors such that we can be able to easily understand. So when we are talking about floor plan stage, this will be your first step, shape and area. So the outer boundary, okay, the outer boundary will be indicating about the die boundary or your chip boundary, and the inner boundary is going to be specifying about your core boundary. Okay, die boundary, core boundary, and the area between the core and die is called as IO clearance. Okay, the area between your core and die, okay, between your core and die is called as our IO clearance, and the area internal, okay, between, or let's say inside the core boundary is the area where you will be placing all the cells area, or let's keep it like core area. Okay, core area. So this is about your basics. What is core area, what is die boundary, everything we'll try to look into this particular part. So core area. Now inside this particular core area, as we are telling, we are going to be placing is like initially in the floor plan stage macros. Okay, macros will be placed. So once that particular macros are placed, the next part is power distribution. So for example, let's go with an easier methodology. Let's say I want to distribute power in a community. Okay, in a particular community, I want to distribute the power. So when I'm talking about community, there can be chances like few industrial areas, small scale industries can be present. Okay, some parks, some apartments, some individual houses. So they can be different kind of places present inside one particular community. So once I want to do that particular power planning, I want to do is like, first I have to think where exactly the high power consumption related places are present. Let's say like the industrial. Okay, according to the industrial, I need to provide that particular power. Okay, so first is like macros, high power consumption circuits. So that I will try to place first. Once I have placed that and I have distributed that particular power, I will be able to get to know that for individual houses, or let's say like for small apartments, will the remaining power be sufficient or not? Will I be able to distribute the power properly or not? So that's why we are going to do is like, once that particular bigger circuits are placed, I'll try to do is like power planning. Okay, power planning will be done. That means your power and ground connections will be made. Okay, power and ground connections will be made. So once that particular power and ground connections has been made, I will try to place is like my individual houses. That is your standard cells. Next comes the placement stage where standard cells will be placed. So while placing that particular standard cells, okay, while placing that particular standard cells, I will try to look into the timing perspective and also the distance between the cells. If there are communicating cells, the distance between the cells also I have to look. So the next part is, the next part I will be looking into is standard cell placement. If there are communicating standard cells, I have to make sure that those are placed nearby rather than in the far locations. That is, from the placement stage, we will try to look forward. Okay, so coming to the next step, that is CTS stage. Okay, coming to the next step, that is CTS stage. That means clock tree building and propagation of the clocks is done in the CTS stage. Okay, clock tree building and uh, propagating of the clocks is done in the CTS stage. So let's say there are some sequential circuits like flip-flops available in my design. Okay, flip-flops available in my design in different locations. So we expect is like, when we are talking about a clock getting propagated, okay, at the same time the clock should be reaching the clock flops such that the functionality will be proper. Yes, when we are talking about circuits which are getting functionally based on the clocking part, okay, based on the clocking part, we assume like the clock should be reached at the same time. Okay, we assume like the clock should be reaching at that particular same, or let's say small difference. That's what we prefer of doing it. So in CTS stage, we make sure that the clocks are propagated, and also, okay, the clocks are propagated, and also the in such a way that it reaches the flip-flop in very less time. Okay, in very less time, the clocks are reaching that particular sequential circuits. Clear for CTS stage? And in routing stage, we make sure that all the connections are properly, let's say like, are converted to a wire format. Okay, clear for everyone? All right. So this is all about the ASIC flow. Any questions? Okay. So now coming to your requirements. So PD doesn't require coding, okay, or let's say backend related is not majorly about the coding. It's just require about the command related. Okay, it requires, first one is commands, how that particular command needs to be executed. All that is what the major requirement. Other than that, there is no special requirement. So as a fresher, when you want to get enter into the VLSI industry, the requirement is CMOS, CMOS related second order effects, CMOS fabrication, transistor fabrication, and also the second order effects. This will be the required. Okay, and also basics of your digital. Okay, basics of the digital is required. No other special requirements compared to uh, coming to the PD, and everything will be touched here. So in this particular course, there will be two halves. One is your basic and the second one is advanced. And coming to the basics part, uh, they will be touching with respect to the analog circuits, digital circuits, and basic terminologies required for the flow, physical design. That will be covered into this particular prospective. I'll go first. Right. So DFT or physical design, that's based on how you are studying, it will be easier for you. So you will be, when you are doing engineering, you will be having one core, right? That is like, if you think that you're good at very log writing, then you can enter into RTL designer. That will be a good perspective. And when we are talking about DFT, like stuck at zero, and if you're good at the concepts of stuck at zero, stuck at one, ATPG, MBIST, everything, then you can touch that particular DFT. And if we say like, I don't want to touch any kind of coding related, okay, any coding related perspective, then I suggest is like touch the backend. Okay, touch the backend. It is a very good. You have to work is like little bit more effort, but yes, you in the future growth will be very good. So in my perspective, I suggest is like go with respect to the backend. If you're good in the coding perspective, then I suggest you with respect to touching the front end perspective. So So for whether you're a working professional or a fresher, the course will be the same. How much effort you put, according to that, the subject will be developed. We will be giving is like only inputs. You will be helping based on your questions. You will be. No, there is no mathematic used at all. In STA, when we are talking about timing analysis, then you will be requiring about that particular few of the mathematical. So it's not very in depth of mathematical calculation. It's just like basic addition, subtraction, and percentage. Only this will be required. There is no other requirements, no bigger calculations and everything. That only it will be part in the STA prospective. Yeah. So there was one question with respect to the analog layout. So when we are talking about analog designing, so it's like the designing of your standard cells or designing of your memory circuits will be performed in that particular analog designing. So when you're talking about analog designing, it's required to know about the stick diagram of the each and every gate is required. Stick diagrams, and based on that particular stick diagrams, you are going to be implementing the circuitry. Okay, analog designing is purely, or custom designing is purely about designing about your standard cells and your macros. Okay, PD about designing about your complete circuit. So I cannot give you the opportunities or salary related perspective. The reason is because for starting 6 months, they will tell like a PD is more required. And the second half, they will be telling us like front end related is more required. And it keeps on changing. Books actually, I won't touch any books here. I will do is like multiple website search. Yeah, DFT is majorly front end faster. Yes. Okay, clear for everyone so far? What is okay? LEC is a check. For that particular check, we will be using formality and conformal. Formality or conformal is the tools used. One second. Okay, we are going to be using is for LEC is formality or conformal. It's based on the requirement, the product based company, and most preferably we will be initially okay. So first question, any technical questions, please raise a hand. All the non-technical related questions, I'll ask sir to join, such that means like course duration, or let's say which course is effective and related to the non-technical stuff, all the interview based and everything. I'll ask sir to join such that he will be able to answer you all your queries. Okay, first question, any technical questions?
Oh, I have a question. Like regarding the assignments and projects, how is it designed, the course?
Duration of the course, 5 months, 5 to 6 months of the duration.
And not duration, I'm asking assignments and projects will be there, right? How it is like
Yeah.
designed.
So all the experience okay, so all the trainers and mentors, so we have designed that particular assignments, and it will be conducted in regular basis, and based on that particular assignments and uh, results, we will try to, according to that, the coaching level we will try to change. That means like we will suggest them to focus more on that particular subjects and everything. So again, when conducting the next time, if they are repeating, we will try to give more suggestions and everything till they improve. So each and every task at each and every
Hello,
stage,
Rudra, can you hear me?
design will be
Okay.
provided. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I have joined in. If there is any non-technical question, I can answer those.
Yes, sir. I think so. I was trying to ask you to join. So the technical part is done. All the non-technical related is what they are trying to ask. So you can be able to.
So, Rudra, since you are done, I mean, if there are any non-technical queries, I mean, queries related to the course and the duration or placement support, anything, I can answer those. Maybe you can be in the call for some time. I mean, we can collectively address. If there
Yeah,
is
okay,
still
sir.
any technical queries, you can address those. Okay. Let me, can you also make me the organizer?
Yes, sir. Just give me. Yes, sir. Done. Sir, I
Hello,
think so.
everyone.
You're muted.
Yeah, no. I'm just writing down all the questions. So we'll go over all the questions one by one. I think that will be easy for me.
Yeah.
Have you answered this question? DFT also comes in backend. I think you have answered this question.
Yes, I think so. Yes, sir. That I have answered.
Okay, fine. Yeah, maybe if someone has questions beyond this, you can post those things. I mean, if you feel that you have a question and that has not been answered, you can post your question in the chat window. Okay. So now let us start with these questions. Will there be placement support for those taking up working professional course? Yes, you will get the support. See, the only difference between a fresher course and a working professional course is a fresher course consists of 2 months of basic study. I mean, I was there for some part of the session where Rudra was doing. So I saw that he has gone a little deep into physical design aspect. I mean, where he was explaining floor plan, placement, CTS, everything, many things. Someone who is a fresher who has just passed out of the college probably hasn't followed everything. I mean, they may not have understood what is meant by clock, what is meant by flip flop, what is meant by clock tree synthesis. A lot of topics would be new to freshers. That is where we have a 2 months basics course where all these fundamentals will be covered. So that will be the only difference between a fresher course and a working professional course. For a working professional, it will be a 4 months course. For a fresher, it will be a 6 months course, in which during the 2 months, initial 2 months, we'll be focusing on all the aspects, starting from the basics of digital electronics, the CMOS semiconductor fundamentals, then the physical design basics, all these terms like what is meant by clock, what is meant by parasitic capacitance, what is meant by resistance, capacitance, everything will be covered during that training. Other than that, we'll be focusing on Linux, TCL scripting, everything. Once this 2 months training is done, we'll be going into the main 4 months course. So again, to answer this question, yes, those who enroll for working professional course, they will also get the placements. Now, what about offline course, offline training? Yes, training is done in offline. Entire course will be done in offline. Currently, the trainer for some time, I mean, he has gone to Hyderabad on a short notice. That's the reason. Right now, it's online today. But otherwise, from the when we start the course from Tuesday, it will be completely offline. Okay, it will be completely offline for the entire 6 months duration. It will be offline as well as online. Those who want to attend online, they can attend online. Those who want to attend offline, they can attend online. Even you can attend in a hybrid model where for few months or few weeks you attend offline, few weeks you can attend online. That can be done because the training is done in common timings for both offline and online students. There is no separate offline batch, there is no separate online batch. So because of that, one of the session, let's say you can be attending online, because you will, once you enroll for the course, you will all be getting, you will be added to a WhatsApp group. There you will be getting the session links, and through that you can join. If you want to attend offline, you come to the institute and attend offline. There won't be much difference. Next, a below average student can do PD. Is it possible to crack it? Now, below average means he doesn't have confidence on himself. Will he get a job? Will he do anything in life? Someone who don't have confidence on themselves, will he ever do anything in life? He won't get job. My answer is what? What should I answer? Tell me for this question. If someone doesn't have confidence on themselves and tell me that I will do a course, what should I do? Should I motivate him at 22 years of age? Right? There is nothing like below average or anything. It's all your attitude that makes. I mean, what is below average? Nothing. Like during your BTech, you never focused. Other person was focusing and he was studying every day or every week. He was focusing as per the schedule and he got good marks. And you didn't. You were enjoying, so you didn't get marks. So that's why you are below average. But if you can change that attitude and do well now, you can get a job. Okay, people are getting job. I mean, when you say below average, let's say you ask me someone who has got 55% marks, did he get any PD job anytime? There were cases where who has got 55% and 60% and in that range also they were able to get the jobs. So it is possible to crack PD. PD physical design is nothing like any complex quantum mechanics or anything. It's a simple concept. Whatever the trainer explained you over 2.5 hours duration, that will be learned over a 6 months duration. See, you may have felt difficulty because he has explained many things in 2.5 hours, right? He was trying to explain too many things. What we are going to do when we do the main training, we are going to discuss the same topics over a 6 months duration. So you will have so much time to prepare, so it won't be difficult. It's just your attitude. You should never say that below average student. Okay. I am from academic background. Can I get into the industry? Okay. What based on my observation so far, those who are from faculty background, I mean who join from faculty background, has a success ratio of almost 95%. I mean, I'm not talking about people with 15 years of teaching background. Someone with 5 to 10 years of, I mean 0 to 10 years of teaching experience. Okay. When they join VLSI training, their success ratio is at least 90%. I would say 95%. Now, why am I saying this is getting a job into VLSI is all about gaining the required knowledge and ability to execute the project. Now, someone with academic background, I mean teaching background, what happens is they already are good with the fundamentals because they teach digital electronics, or they may have taught semiconductor fundamentals or some electronics relevant subjects they would have covered. So they are already good with the fundamentals. Because of that, it's easy for them to learn the things. Once your fundamentals are good, once you are good with CMOS, once you are good with concepts of IC fabrication, concepts of digital electronics, for you to learn physical design, it's very easy, relatively easier. So once you have the subject, industry accepts the people. Because the other advantage with people from academic background is they are generally stable. What do I mean by stable? Is someone who is working. I mean, I have seen teachers, lecturers or professors who are in a college for 5 years, 10 years, or someone in 15 years also working in the same college. That is what we mean by stability. And mostly companies look for people who are stable in the jobs. See, sometimes let's say you join today, after 6 months you leave. Will there be any advantage to the company because of you? No, right? I mean, you would have just learned and you are leaving. Whereas if you stay in a company for 5 years or 10 years, the company benefits and you also benefit out. So companies look for people. Companies don't look for very smart people. They don't want top class people. They want average, above average candidates who can understand the problem and who can implement the problem, who can solve the problem, who are stable with the company. And mostly the people with academic background come with good fundamentals. They are more focused because they are into teaching. They know what does it take to learn the things. The second thing is they are mostly stable. That's why companies don't mind hiring people with academic background. Now the only catch here is only two things you need to understand is, since you are working in academic background, I mean, you will be working for at least 40 to 45 hours per week minimum. With that much working, will you be able to take out at least 25 hours per week to prepare for the VLSI job? That's the first thing. Second thing you need to ask is, now depending upon, I don't know how much experience you have, I don't know your salary. Sometimes you have to join at a lower salary. Someone who is working as a faculty and let's say he or she is getting 40,000 or 50,000 per month. When you join into the company, because you are going to be joining as a more like a fresher or a junior, I mean 1 to 2 years experience person, company may not pay you 50,000. So willing to join at lower salary than current salary. Possibly, okay, there is a possibility that you may have to join at times salary lower than current salary, but over 1-2 years down the lane, it gets offset. I mean, let's say even if you join at a lower salary, once you have 1 year of experience or 2 years of experience, you will always get better than what you got in academic background. Okay, it's all about these two things. Because unless you spend at least this much time per week, you can't prepare for VLSI jobs. I mean, you need this much time so that you can complete the course in 6 to 7 months duration. And there are times where you may have to join at lower salary, and we should be willing to do it. I hope I have answered this question. DFT also comes in backend. See, DFT, I think Vishal, I mean Rudra has answered. DFT happens in both front-end domain and backend domain. The DFT is done at RTL level also, means Verilog coding level. DFT is also done at gate level also. Means both before synthesis and after synthesis, DFT is done. DFT stands for what? Design for testability. It is some way of making sure that you detect the manufacturing defects. If someone is very specifically interested in DFT, there is a demo session at 1 p.m. today. You can join that demo session. Okay. So DFT is all about detecting the manufacturing defects. Once you manufacture the chips, whether is it good or is it faulty? Is chip working fine or is it having a some manufacturing defects? To detect that, we use the DFT techniques. So the DFT happens before synthesis also and after synthesis also. We can't specifically say DFT happens only in backend. It happens in both front end and backend. Okay, but one thing about DFT is it doesn't require any programming expertise. Similar to PD. In PD also you don't need any programming, right? In DFT also you don't need any programming expertise. Next. Please tell me which product companies do visit your institute. Mostly the companies like Samsung, Micron, Microchip. Recently we started engaging with Intel, then Boeing, then On Semiconductors, Mentor Graphics has recently hired from us. So these are some of the companies who hire from our institute. Generally, these companies don't hire in bulk. Mostly they hire 2 people, 3 people like that. Most of the placements in the institute happens into services. I don't want to tell something wrong. Around, I would say 10% placements into product companies, around 90% into services. This is how it works. I might have missed out another few companies, but this is the list more or less. I mean, we started with AMD, but that process is still going on. I mean, initially we have to do some paperwork before we share the profiles. That's still going on with AMD. Any other questions? Okay. Offline course starting.
So we will get any
We will get any study material you are telling? Yes, we will be giving you the printed copy of the materials. For this batch, we'll be giving.
and soft copy will get or not, sir?
Soft copy
Because
also you'll get. We'll also provide soft copy. You'll also get the hard copy.
okay.
So let's start with answering these questions. So what is the current market trends in backend roles in India? Okay. There is nothing like current market trends. I'll tell you how it works is the physical design domain was there even 30 years back. I mean, if you have to manufacture a chip, let me tell you one simple example. There is a house construction happening. You think 50 years back house construction was different, something different? All right, it was similar. Just that now we are using more machines. Probably 50 years back, everything was done manually. Everything was done manually. Even carrying the bricks, everything was done manually. Now what happened? Since we are constructing more bigger homes with bigger facilities, the house construction got a little bit automated. I mean, where the more machines came into the picture. So, but still, even back 50 years back, there used to be painting, there used to be carpentry work, There used to be plumbing work. Even now, the chip industry has started almost 50 years ago, or even much before that. Okay, at least 50 years ago. Okay, the process, whatever steps were there at that time, even now they are there. So if you ask me current market trends, unmute. So the current market trends are good. Means you see that lot of work moving to. Now, why will lot of work move to India? You know that the cost advantage, right? Why the cost advantage comes into picture? One USD is how much now? Roughly 80 INR. So instead of one person in US, one employee in US is probably equivalent to 7 employees. If both are similarly talented, so companies wouldn't mind hiring people in India. That's where a lot of work moves to India. There is no reason, nothing that we are specially talented or anything. And second reason is in US and European countries, I don't know whether I'm answering the, I'll come to the point also. There, everyone gets a similar salary rates. Even a truck driver gets $6,000. Person who drives a truck, he also makes $6,000 to $7,000 every month. Even VLSI engineer makes a little more, maybe another $3,000 to $4,000 more than what truck driver. So they don't really have too many people to work on VLSI. That's where a lot of work moves to India, and you will see a lot of hiring happening these days. Now, if so many people are attending demo session, so many people are interested in VLSI, it's all because there's a lot of work happening in India, and that's where you see a lot of companies opening up. You take any company, any VLSI company, you will find the division in Bangalore. You will find their center in Bangalore. It could be Texas Instrument, Intel, Qualcomm, Micron, Microchip, any tech, any company, except for 1 or 2 companies. You will find all the companies being present in India. That's because India has a very good ecosystem for VLSI jobs. Why? What is ecosystem? Means a large pool of people who get trained in electronics, and who complete BTech and bachelor's and master's in electronics domain first thing. And people are good at working on software kind of jobs. And we had a trend where starting from 90s itself, the companies like Intel and Texas Instruments started in Bangalore already. So that has put a strong foundation where so many companies have started. So again, to answer this question, current market trends in back-end roles in India, there is a lot of opportunities in back-end roles. Now, when we say back-end, it refers to synthesis, it refers to the STA, it refers to physical design, it refers to IR drop analysis, it refers to custom layout. There are a lot of opportunities in all these domains, and there is a lot of hiring happening in these domains. I'm not sure if I answered this question too precisely, but the answer is current market trends. Current market trends are good. There is a good hiring happening across all the domains. Next. Is it better to take custom layout or PD? I'm a fresher. Both the domains are equally good, so I don't want to say PD is better or custom layout is better. It's all your perspective. I mean, how do you, I mean, which domain you find it interesting is important. Otherwise, both the domains are good. There is a hiring happening in both the domains. See, how you have to understand this. VLSI as a domain will do better or will be down. It's the whole VLSI will be good or it's the whole VLSI will be down. If the market is down, let's say VLSI market is down, hiring is down, it's not just that only PD will get impacted. Even custom layout will get impacted. So when it comes to the placement opportunities, you just need to ask, how is the VLSI hiring currently? If the placements are happening in front-end domain, there will be placements happening in physical design also. Because if you are working on a chip, there will be work both in front-end and back-end, right? So this is what you should be looking at. I mean, VLSI as a domain, overall it will be good, or overall it will be down. So currently the VLSI domain is good. There is a lot of hiring happening across all the domains. Now, when it comes to better to take custom layout or PD, my suggestion would be, since you are still need to make a decision, you join any course. Let's say you join physical design training. You can do the course for 2 months duration in the institute. Till 2 months, you can switch to any other domain without any additional cost, additional fee. Let's say you join 21st August till 21st of October. You can switch to any other domain. You can switch to custom layout because 2 months will be a good time. Right now, what happens? You have to make a decision in 1 or 2 days. Should I go for custom layout or should I go for physical design? If I give you 2 months time, that will be a good time for you to make a decision. Okay, am I okay with physical design? By then you would have got an idea about how is the placements, how is the subject, how the trainers are there, how is the market opportunities. You have time to switch to any other domain. You may say, is it only custom layout? You can switch to front-end domain also. Now you may say, what about 2 months I'm losing, right? I'll be losing 2 months. You won't be losing 2 months. Typically what happens? Initial 3 weeks will be common for everyone. Even if you join custom layout, even if you join for physical design, even if you join for front-end training, initial 3 months will be, 3 weeks will be the digital electronics, the basics of Linux will be covered. So that will be common. So you will be only losing around 5 weeks of course. You will be only losing 5 weeks of time. And by the time a new batch will start of whatever other domain, you can join into that domain. That is what I would like to answer, because I can't tell that custom layout is good. I can't tell that physical design is good, because every domain is good in their own respect. So better you experience the domain, you experience physical design for 1 week or 2 months. If you like it, you continue. Otherwise, you switch to other domain. I hope it answers the question. Next, as a fresher, we don't know about anything. So below average student, which one need to choose? Physical domain, physical design, or functional verification. Okay. Below average student, that's again a problem. I think same person is asking the question. He has a serious problem with his confidence. That person who is asking that question has a serious problem with his confidence levels. Right? First of all, we should believe ourselves, right? Then only other people will believe. You go to interview, you yourself tell that I'm a below average student. Can you hire me? Will he hire you? All right. So the question is physical design, and when he says FV, he means functional verification. So he wants to decide between whether to go for physical design or functional verification. Only decision making factor is if you are interested in programming kind of job, you can go for functional verification. Otherwise, you should go for physical design. My suggestion would be, I mean, what I have seen is functional verification has around 20 to 30% more opportunities than physical design. In my personal observation, what I've seen is functional verification domain has relatively more opportunities. Let's say if I get 10 requirements for physical design, I would get at least 12 to 13 companies or 12 to 13 requirements for functional verification. That's what I have seen. But it shouldn't be a major stopping point for you to take PD, because there are opportunities in PD also. I mean, it's not like someone is good and they are not getting placed. They are getting placed. Okay. But if someone is below average and he feels that he has, I mean, he must get a job, then probably functional verification will be a better. What is the fees for special course? There is nothing like a special course. It is like a fresher, I think, freshers course. For a fresher, it's a 6 months course. The fee is 63K plus GST. I think you might have talked, there is some reduction we might have done based on the people. I mean, you can talk to the institute to know about the final numbers. Okay? Because I don't want to keep differentiating people. Generally, if you have a policy of reduction, we would have told everyone. Okay? For experienced people, the course fee would have been, it's a 4 months course, the course fee would have been 49K plus GST. Again, you talk to the institute manager or the person who takes care of enrollment, he will help you with the actual final. Offline course starting date. It is starting from 23rd of, that is day after tomorrow. What we do is, tomorrow we will take a break for enrollments. It will start on 23rd August, or in the worst case, 24th August. Because why we take 1 or 2 days break is to make sure that we complete with the course enrollments. Then once we start the course, there won't be break. You may be thinking why you are delaying by 2-3 days, just to make sure that we complete the enrollments. Let's say I start tomorrow. On Tuesday and Wednesday, some 10 people enroll. Again, I have to redo the topics for them, right? They will miss the topic. So what we do, we take 1 or 2 days break. We complete the enrollments. We form the batch. Once we form the batch, enrollments stop at that. Then we start the course. It's mostly planned for 23rd of August. Both offline and online courses start exactly same date, same time, and the schedule is exactly same. Because whatever I am doing offline, the same session is being listened by the online students also. There is no difference in the schedule. Everything is same. Even the placement support will be same. Even the tool support, everything will be same. Then you may say, I am an online student. How will you support me with the tool? How will you support me with the project? See, right now what Rudra did, he made me the presenter, right? He made me the presenter. There is a provision where I can make any one of you presenters. I mean, all the students, I can make you presenter, and I can take your screen control. I can take your screen keyboard and mouse control, and I can help you debug. Let's say you are facing some issue with the tool, you are facing some issue with the project flow. I can always make you the presenter, and I can always support. So we have been running online training for last 9 years. Since 2013, we have been doing online training. So this is not the first or second year of online training. So there will not be any gap in the online courses. We have students who take the courses from US and Europe and various places outside of Bangalore. So you can confidently join. There won't be any gap in the even in online training. But if you ask me which one is better, offline or online, which one is always better? Offline is always better, right? But online also you will not find much difference. There is one more advantage here is that in all these modes of learning, you get access to recorded videos for 10 days. I mean, every session, recorded video accessible for 10 days. Let's say you have attended a session today. Today's session is being recorded. That video will be accessible for next 10 days. And the second thing is there will be a live training every day. I mean, today there's a live training, tomorrow there's a live training, and 6 days in a week live training will be there. Only one day will be off. It could be generally Sunday or it could be Friday. We'll inform you that. Since there is a live training every day, you can talk to the trainer very next day. Let's say today you have a doubt, you talk to the trainer next tomorrow and get your doubts clarified. You don't have to wait till Saturday, you don't have to wait till Sunday to get your doubts clarified. Other than that, there will be one more flexibility. Generally, every student who enrolls into the course, there is a dedicated WhatsApp group created. It's an individual WhatsApp group where trainer is added and admin is added. For any technical support, who will be helpful? Trainer will help you. He can provide you the quick resolution. For any non-technical support, admin will. Why we are doing this dedicated WhatsApp group is to make sure that that support can be quick. See, anyway, I have to provide the support. Let's say you send me a mail. If not today, tomorrow I have to spend the same amount of time. Better if I provide the same support early, it's better for everyone, right? So that is where we created dedicated WhatsApp group so that you post whatever is the support. Let's say you are not getting access to something. You have missed some session, you want some videos, you didn't get access to something, you want some information about placement support, or you have some technical queries related to the course. You can post all those queries in the dedicated WhatsApp, and the concerned people will help you address the queries. The timings. The course will be 6 days per week. Mostly either Sunday or Friday will be off. One of those days I will inform you, because sometimes what happens is once we go to the physical design main course, the people who are working companies like Qualcomm and Intel, they will be the trainers. So they will have time during Saturday and Sundays, right? So at that time, what we do, we'll give the Friday as off, and your sessions will happen on Saturday and Sunday. Because they won't be available on Friday, right, to teach. They are working. So during initial 2 months, Sunday will be off. Later 4 months, Friday will be. Now the timings is mostly we try for 9:30 a.m. to 1:30. This is major cases. majority of sessions. There are times where we do sessions from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. in some cases. Because what happens, a trainer cannot do all the sessions only in the morning, right? He has to do some sessions in the afternoon also. In those cases, if we are not able to manage, some of the sessions can be planned for afternoon timings also. Generally in the institute, sessions happen in two timings, either in the morning slot 9:30 to 1:30 or 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So mostly 9:30 a.m. is what is the schedule. Otherwise, if it doesn't work out, then we go for 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And all these timings will be informed 1 week in advance in the WhatsApp group. Once you enroll for the course, you are all added into one individual, one dedicated one WhatsApp group for this batch. Let's say this batch is 72 batch number. So you're all added into that batch, and the timings and all the updates you will get through that WhatsApp. Next question. I am 2017 batch, so I can do this course? I have no experience. See, these days I have seen the current market, the way the hiring is happening. Companies are hiring even 2012 pass out, 2014 pass out. So 2017 pass out is not an exception. All that you require is dedicated learning. It should be good with the subject, all the fundamentals, starting from the topic where we are starting from digital electronics and whatever I mentioned for initial 2 months and whatever we are going to do in the advanced 4 months course. You should be good with all the subject. You will have an opportunities, but definitely being 2017 pass out, you may not get all fresher opportunities, because sometimes when, let's say, Capgemini comes, HCL Technologies comes, what they will say, they want only 2022, 2021, 2020 pass out. They will clearly tell. At that time, you will not be eligible for those opportunities. But then there are companies who hire people with education gap purposefully. I don't want to name the companies. There are almost 15 companies which hire students with education gap. Then what do? They show part of that gap as experience, as company internal experience. I don't want to name the companies, but it is a common trend these days, because then the candidate profile is projected to client projects as experienced. Let's say Qualcomm is there. I want to send two profiles, one a fresher profile, one experience profile. Which profile Qualcomm will prefer? I'm a company. I'm running a company. I want to give one profile to the Qualcomm. Will I give fresher profile or will they accept experience? They would want to take experience profile, right? Because the person can perform better compared to a fresher. So this is what these companies do. They take whatever you are. They will show part of your experience, whatever your gap is there. Like since you passed out in 2017, 2 years of experience they will show in your profile as if you have worked in that company. And with that experience, they will project you for client purpose. That is how they generate the revenue. Okay. So that's where you do stand a chance. Someone who is 2017 pass out, don't think that you don't have opportunity. You do have an opportunity. But then, since you are being projected as an experienced engineer, you should be better than fresher, right? If you are going to Qualcomm as an experienced engineer, you should not be like a fresher. You should be better than that. That means you should have put more effort and should have learned more things. So answer is yes. You, even without any experience, if you put a right effort, you can learn the things and you can get into the job. There are many people who have done that. I've seen people who have come from Saudi Arabia. They were working in some marketing domain there. They came, they took the training, almost immediately they were able to get the job. The difference is the approach towards the learning. If you feel that only institute will get me the job, I just join the training, institute will give me the job, it's not going to happen. You have to put effort, you have to learn the subject, you have to become good with the projects and the flow, then you can get a job. I think I have answered this question. Recorded sessions are available for 10 days duration for each session, for every session. Even if you attend, even if you don't attend, you still have access to those sessions, and we have a e-learning portal, our own learning portal. Through that you get access to all the videos, all the course material, all the assignments, everything, interview questions, everything will be supported through our e-learning portal. Difference between functional verification and formal verification. See, formal verification, I'll be very brief here because for most of the people who are attending today's session, this may not be interesting. Formal verification has multiple branches. One of the major branches is called as LEC, formal logic equivalence checks. In formal verification, we don't develop any test page. We don't have any test page. It is a more like a equivalence check. I mean, they check whether both the designs are matching without applying any inputs. So no inputs are applied. In functional verification, test bench is there, inputs are applied. Inputs are applied from the test bench. For now, this much is the only difference. I don't want to go deep into it because we'll be deviating from the physical design flow. Okay. If you talking from an opportunities perspective, if there are 15 opportunities in functional verification, there will be only one opportunity in formal. So the opportunities are what? 15 opportunities. Here you will find probably. So where do you have better chance of getting job? Functional. If you still have a questions regarding this, I'll give my number. You can call me afterwards because I don't want to do a topic which other people are really not interested. Because mostly people are here for physical design and back-end domain courses. Is the course available for weekend batch for working professional? Yes, very much it's available. The timings will be Saturday and Sunday. It will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. will be the, or will be, I would say 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. is the theory session, both Saturday and Sunday. 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. is the lab session for complete 4 months. And if you are a working professional, you are only looking for main physical design training, it will go for 4 months. But if you want to do the initial 2 months of training also, then only this will. Initial 2 months, there won't be 8 hours because there are no labs. When I'm doing digital design, there is no labs, right? So the timings will differ. But there is a dedicated batch for working professionals also. After completing the course duration, e-certificate can be provided. Yes, if provide certificate, which university certificate can you provide? Okay, we are not tied up with any university. See what happens is, I'll tell you. As soon as we tie up with any institute, tie up with any college, any university, we need to pay around 50,000 to 1 lakh INR to the university. At least, if not 1 lakh, we need to pay 50,000 INR to the university just to issue. And if you ask me, does it hold any value? Absolutely no value. A certificate, diploma certificate from, let's say, any university. I don't want to name universities in Bangalore. Any university you take, Jain University, Vishweswara University, or JNT University, that certificate will not hold any value. What holds the value? Your knowledge is what holds the value. Your command over the subject is what holds the value. If I have to tie up with a university, I can do today also. I go to JNTU, I meet some director there. I will tell for every student I give you the certificate, I'll pay you 50,000 rupees. You will agree for that also. Because for college there is nothing, and there someone else is teaching, college is getting the revenue, university is getting the revenue. What is the problem? What is the final impact? What is the final impact of all this? Course fee will go up from 60,000 to 1,20,000. That's the reason we didn't do that. So currently, if you say that you have completed training from VLSI Institute, companies will treat it on par with the university certificate. If you can produce a certificate saying that I completed training from this institution, this training institute, they will treat it as a on par with the university certificate. Anyway, you are not going to get BTech MTech certificate, right? Even if I tie up with any university, you are going to get a diploma certificate. That certificate is equivalent to whatever we issue. You're getting the point why we don't issue any certificate from university, right? Like you might have seen ads in Edureka, many places where they say 3 lakh rupees for this course, and we tied up with Jain University, we tied up with some university. That 3 lakh is not because of their teaching, it's because to tie up with the university and to issue a certificate to you, there's a cost involved. Okay, so mostly hiring doesn't happen on university basis. Even if you are from NIT, IIT, when you go to interview, they don't hire you just because you are from IIT or NIT. They will definitely do the interview. That interview is where you have to make the difference. So that's my answer. I hope I was clear. Salary and opportunities in difference between functional verification and PD. There will be a majorly a difference of 10%. I'll ask you one question. Does carpenter, I mean, going back to the house construction, does carpenter make more money or plumber make more money? Who gets more money? Is there any answer for that? No, right? I mean, it depends upon the individual talent. A carpenter can be making lakhs of rupees. Even plumber can be making lakhs of rupees, depending upon their how good they are with what they do and how they manage their work. Same way, there is no major difference between functional verification salaries and PD because both are equally important domains. So how the salaries could be, I mean, there will be always a 10% variation, right? See, carpenter might be getting 10% more than plumber. There's always a problem. Same thing. So there is always a chance that PD person might get 10% more than possibility. Okay. PD engineer can get probably 10% more than 10 to 10% more than a functional verification. Now the salary ranges can be very varying. Functional verification engineer, someone with 5 years experience, can get anywhere between 15 to 40 lakhs. Even a PD engineer it is possible. These numbers are there in the market. I mean, if you see the market, you will see someone with 5 years experience can also be getting 40 lakhs also. If you go to companies like Qualcomm, Intel, there might be people, might be, okay. So now, okay, how do I say which one gets more salary? Both get similar salaries, right? But as a market trend, a PD engineer has relatively 5 to 10% salary more than functional verification because PD engineering work involves a lot of effort. Many times they are expected to work 15 hours in a day. During the project closing stages, in the final stage of the project, they are expected to work 15 hours in a day. Functional verification engineer never works for 15 hours, except for 2-3 days or 5 days in a year, complete year. His work is always regular office time. So of course, PD engineer is deserved to get more salary, right? But otherwise, if you ask me generic terms, there won't be much difference. Which is better in terms of job? Again, I answered between custom layout and PD. Which is better? Tell me. Both are equally good. It's your interest is what makes a difference. If you ask me, PD might be better because PD is more in-depth subject. It's a very wide and varying subject. In custom layout, what do? You mostly understand the circuit, you understand the schematic, you implement it. At one point, a custom layout job gets monotonous. At one point, once you have implemented some circuits, your work is monotonous, right? You have to repeatedly do the same thing. You will either do circuit design, you will implement the circuit layout, you will do the physical verification, and you will do the circuit simulations. These are the 4 things you will do in custom layout job. In PD, the work can be very wide and varying. So if you ask me, better in terms of the job, PD is better because it's more challenging. Opportunities wise also, PD has more opportunities, and the growth also, PD has more growth. But then am I discouraging someone from custom layout? Nothing like that. If you find interest in custom layout, of course custom layout. But my personal preference will be for physical design. Next, I am a MTech 2015 passed out, working in software system administrator VLSI backend. Okay, let me answer this question. Chances are very good because you're working in PCs. Here, what you have to do is you have to join a training. Any course you can join. You have to get trained for 6 to 8 months total. Do multiple projects. Show these projects as part of your company experience. In this case, TCS experience. Because TCS also has VLSI division. If you ask me, does TCS has VLSI division? They have a small VLSI division, maybe 100 employees, 80 employees, right? And when you say that you worked into VLSI domain at TCS, they will have. Now the question comes, what happens for my background verification check? Company, wherever I join, they will do background verification check, right? Have you worked in VLSI? Have you worked in? People don't have so much time. Mostly the verification goes only till HR. It doesn't go to the technical manager. It doesn't go to the system administrator manager. It goes to the HR manager. They will only see what is the, has he worked in TCS? What is the start date? What is the end date? What was the designation? They will reply, that's all done. So it's nothing like you are going to lose job because you are actually doing system admin. You joined into physical design. You are going to lose job. Not going to happen. What is here the challenge? I'll tell you what will be the challenge for this person. The challenge will be taking out time to prepare for the training, prepare for the course is the challenge. Getting a job is not a challenge. Even if today he creates a resume saying that he has 2 years of VLSI physical design experience at TCS, he is going to get at least 20 opportunities. Because at the end, there is so much requirement in the market. But when he attends the interview, he needs to perform on par with the 2 years experience, right? Let's say he goes to the interview and he asks what is floor plan, what is CTS or anything. If he is not able to answer, who will answer? So to come up to that level, he has to take out time. That's the only challenge this person has. Otherwise, he can always get into VLSI. But now is the right time. Another 5 years it will be difficult because another 5 years it will be 12 years of gap, right? Now at 12 years he will be getting even better salary. When he moves into VLSI, he has to start at a lower salary because he's going to get into as a 2 years experience only, not as a 6, 7 years of experience. That's the only challenge. But all in all, it is possible to get into VLSI very much, and there are many people who have done that actually, who worked into completely a pure software job. I mean, the company itself not into any VLSI. They have done the training, and after 6 to 8 months of training, they were able to get into VLSI jobs. And in this case, it's very much possible. All that I'm seeing because of this. Okay, and whatever I'm not telling, it's no. I mean, without any data, I have a lot of data. I mean, I have seen people from even teaching background who did the training purely based on their teaching and the projects they have learned at the course. They were able to get into VLSI. Now here he has at least advantage of working in TCS. All that he has to do is what? Instead of system administrator, he has to say that VLSI engineer. Okay, then he can easily get opportunities. See, clearing the interview is all about getting those opportunities, right? You should get at least 10 to 15 opportunities so that you attend the interview and you can clear the interview. So this TCS and TCS can help you get those opportunities, right? Because companies will trust that if you are working in TCS, you will be good. I am
Sir, sorry to
2021
interrupt.
passed out. Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, so suppose I'm showing experience and going for interview, I need to put multiple projects, right?
Yes.
So will the institute like provide details of the project to be added in resume so that I can prepare additionally?
See, we will be helping you with 2 projects. I mean, we will be doing 2 projects as part of the course. See, physical design is something like if you do one project completely, the second project won't be different. So the flow will remain same, right? So first, what do you start with? I think if you have followed the whatever session technical trainer Rudra has done,
Yes,
what
yes.
was the first?
Floor planning.
What is that? Setting up the project. You set up the
Setting a
database.
project. Yes.
What is that called? NDM database. Whether you do
Yes.
100 projects, always you have to start with what? Setting up
setting up the
ATM
data.
database, right? You have to set up the database.
Yes.
Then you have to
Yes.
understand the input files. What all input files are there? Do you think that will differ from one project to other project? No, right?
No.
It will be same. Do you do floor plan in a different manner in two projects? No, right? The basic
No, it
concepts
will be
remain same. Whether you do in project 1, project 2, project 3, the floor plan
yes.
remains same. The fundamental concepts of how you do power planning, how you do placement, how you do CTS, how you do routing, it's all same. So the course is not about doing 10 projects. Our course is not about doing 100 projects. Course is about doing one project in depth with understanding everything, not like memorizing this step, memorize this command, run this command like that, or open a file and just run the commands. Understanding each and every stage in detail. And the second project you doing with a trainer guidance. So that will give you the confidence that, okay, first project I learned from the trainer. Second project I did. Now, once you have done the two projects, you can always show third project easily. All you have to tell is what I have implemented the complete PNR flow for one of the projects. And you should have a little idea about what is that project and you should be able to explain that. I think that much expertise you will get as part of the course.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, if you ask me why people are not able to do in the institute, some of them are not able to get the job, people don't put that effort. See, they don't have motivation to learn. They don't have motivation to open the document and see what is each command is, why I'm doing. Because not everything can be done by the trainers. Trainer can give you up to 70% of the guidance. Remaining 30% is something you need to learn out of your interest. Next. When is the batch for functional verification training for experienced engineers starting? Yeah. The next question. See, when is the batch of functional verification training for experience is starting? It is starting this week. I mean, tomorrow it is starting. That is on 22nd of August. You see, it's not physical design related. It's starting tomorrow, and he's asking for experience. It's starting tomorrow. Please connect with the institute admin. Admin will help with details. Next. How many people per batch? Generally, we have a 25 per batch. I have 6 CGPA. Am I eligible for the course in PD? Yes. See, 6 CGPA means if the percentage anytime goes below 60%. I mean, if you after conversion, if the percentage goes below 60%, I don't suggest physical design course. Let me again repeat: if your net percentage, BTech aggregate percentage, anytime during your 10th or 12th, anytime you have less than 60%, I don't suggest physical design, because generally what happens in physical design, when companies come, they at least ask for minimum 60%. Well, if you don't meet that percentage criteria, there is nothing institute can do. I can't change your number and send it, because finally they'll ask you to submit your documents, right? At that time, you'll be caught. So if you have anything less than 60%, let's say 6 CGPA converts to 60% as per your university, then it's fine. But anything less than 60%, don't take PD course. It will be difficult for you to get the opportunities. Then you may ask, which course should I do? I would suggest you to do functional verification course, because in functional verification advantages, there are many startups, smaller companies, which don't worry about percentage criteria. As long as the candidate is good, if the person is good, they hire. Even if the person has 50% or 45%, the person is good and can perform, the companies will hire. So as a rule, less than 60% don't go for physical design. Next, which one is getting more placement? I told you, right? Front end has around 20 to 30% more opportunities than physical design. But if you are passionate about physical design, don't stop. Don't think that I'll go to front end. If you are passionate, if you know what is physical design, if you have understood today's session and you enjoyed what the trainer has taught you, go with physical design. But if you are okay with any domain, but for you getting placement is the only priority, go for front end. Because I have seen more number of companies coming for front. Do I mean that no opportunities for PD? I just said the percentage wise. If I get 10 opportunities in PD, I'm able to see 20 to 30% more opportunities in front end. Next, and we are mostly done. Okay, we are mostly done with. We'll just answer the last set of questions. Presently, which one has more job opportunities, PD or DFT? See how it works is PD always has more opportunities than DFT. If there is a team of 25 engineers in backend domain, there will be at least 12 to 15 PD engineers. There will be 2 to 3 DFT. Tell me which will have more opportunities? In a team which has got 25 engineers, around 12 to 15 PD engineers will be there, and 2 to 3 DFT engineers. Which has got more opportunities? PD. But then there are a lot of people who join PD training also. How many institutes are there for PD physical design training in Bangalore? At least 10 institutes are there. How many institutes are there for DFT in Bangalore? 2 or 3 maximum. Maximum 3 institutes are. And the number of people who enroll for DFT is also less than that. So that's where automatically, naturally, they balance. Just because there are 2-3 DFT opportunities, there will be less people available in the DFT market. Let me tell you today's our scenario. In DFT, we don't have any person who needs job in our institute. In the DFT domain, I don't even have a single person who needs a job, except for the ongoing batch. In PD, it's different. We have 30 people in PD who needs jobs, who has completed training 1 month back, 2 months back, who needs jobs. I'm not trying to discourage you in anything. I'm telling you what is our institute statistics. Even though there are more requirements for PD, there are more people who undergo PD training. Next, what is the admission process? How can I confirm my admission? Basically, you can make the initial enrollment fee transfer to this account. Fee transfer. You can confirm your enrollment by paying 5,000 INR to this account. Remaining fee can be paid in installments. How the installments and all that? Our enrollment team will help you with all the details. And the course will commence from 23rd of August, and the session will be at 9:30 a.m. If at all there is any 1 day delay, we'll inform you. But this is the plan for now. Okay. And once we start the course, the first session will be what is that? Orientation session, where we'll help you with the entire flow. I mean, what will happen during the first week, second week, third week. Everything will be covered during the orientation session. Next. Can we expect job after placements? We expect job after placement. Yes, if you perform well during the course, If you complete all the course assignments, your chance of getting job will be almost 100%. I mean, all you have to do is you just follow the trainer guidelines. The trainer says today you complete this assignment, you complete this floor plan assignment, power plan assignment, you work on this project. If you just follow those guidelines, the chance of getting job will be 100%. I mean, there is a very good chance that you get job. Just that you have to follow what trainer is suggesting you every day. Like he asks you to complete specific topic assignment or do this specific lab, you have to just follow that. Which all service-based companies are visiting VLSI Guru, and mostly which of the companies frequently hire this? I mean, when it comes to service-based companies, almost all the companies hire from our institute. Because see what happens, the companies, let's say you take HCL Technologies, for example, it's one of the big services companies, right? They don't have any special liking for VLSI Guru, or they don't have any special liking for any other institute. What they do is they identify top 3 to 4 institutes in Bangalore, maybe 4 or 5 institutes. Because by identifying top 4 or 5 institutes, they get major chunk of students. If they approach our institute, they get at least 300 to 350 students per year. They can interview 300 to 350 students in a year. That way, even if they select top 30%, they are able to get good 100 people. That's why they do visit our institute. Means, what I'm trying to tell is, by visiting our institute, all the companies get a good set of people. Like we have people, companies like HCL, Tech Mahindra, UST Global, even Wipro, all these companies hiring from us. Other than that, there are other companies, smaller companies, medium-sized companies, they are also hiring from us. If you ask me which are, I would say almost all the services companies which are into VLSI domain, they do hire from our institute. And which companies hire frequently? All these companies, even Tech Mahindra hires frequently, Capgemini hires. I mean, Capgemini almost hiring every month, at least 10 people hires in different domains from our institute. 1.5 years experience in software can be joined as experience with good sum of money. Again, depends upon when you say software. Like previously, I answered one question, right? He was into TCS. It was easy for him to justify that he worked in VLSI division in TCS. If your company has any VLSI division, the current company, if current company has any VLSI division, you can easily get it. It is possible. But if it is purely software company, let's say Wells Fargo is there. Does it has any VLSI division? No, it's a pure software company. So it is difficult to justify that I worked as a VLSI engineer in Wells Fargo. But if your company has anything related to VLSI or electronics, embedded systems, you can easily get into VLSI. Now, the good sum of money depends upon your performance. If you perform well, people can get even, say I have a person who joined our training in 2017, October. That is almost 5 years. He joined from Capgemini. At that time, Capgemini has no software, I mean no VLSI division, because Capgemini was different, Altran was different. Only after that, Altran was acquired by Capgemini. Now the same person who joined, not only one person, 3 people, a group of 3 people joined. That one person is working in Google as a senior engineer. Might be working at a 30 to 40 lakh salary. Other 2 people are working into Qualcomm. All I'm trying to tell is, if you perform well, companies are open to hire the people. I mean, even if you are from some software company, but since 1.5 years is not like a big experience, right? 1.5 is not like a 20 years experience. You can easily move into other domains. So companies are okay to hire. Next. Is physical design full tough compared to functional application? See, it's nothing like tough or easy. It's nothing like tough or easy. It's being a good teacher. See, a good teacher can make the subject easy. It's a teacher who can make the difference, right? right? If the teacher teaches with a passion, he makes sure that you understand the things properly, fundamentally. Nothing is tough. You probably didn't like some subjects during your BTech because you didn't get a good teacher. Let's say electromechanical machines are there. Okay, it's possible, right? And someone teaches DC motors and AC motors, synchronous motors, everything in a very boring manner without any practical perspective. Will that subject be interesting? No, right? Same subject. If I give you proper DC machine and show you, explain how it works, everything works in a proper manner with a proper example, the same subject will become very interesting. The same subject can be made interesting, can be made very boring also, based on who is the person who is teaching. So the same thing. On the second side, what you should have that passion to learn, right? I can be teaching everything properly, but if you don't put the required effort, if you don't do any homework, everything will be tough. So it's your attitude. Two things are there. One, the person who teaches you the subject, and as a student, what is your attitude towards learning is what will make the difference. If you go with that attitude, nothing is tough. Physical design is also not tough. Functional verification is also not tough. Only thing is, if you have programming inclination, go for functional verification. Otherwise, go for physical design. All our trainers are good. They are passionate. Generally, how I look as a trainer is, after 2 years, you should remember me as a good trainer. If you ask me in my whole academics, okay, I had only 2-3 teachers whom I would remember because of the passion with which they have taught me, right? I want to be one such trainer whom you would remember that, okay, I had got a good teacher who taught me passionately. I keep telling to my other teachers also, other trainers in the institute also, that just teach in that manner so that they will remember you in a good sense that he gave me a career break, right? Next. So you will find a lot of good teachers here, like that. I mean, who are passionate about what they teach. Next. Which one is getting more placements like FP, PD, DFT, custom layout? Again, I answered front end has relatively more opportunities, but then there are placements happening across the domain. Now, even though in DFT, I don't know how many opportunities, but as of today, there is no one in DFT who needs job. In front end, at least there are 5 to 10 people are there who need jobs. In PD, around 30 people are there, but custom layout also no one is there. Because what happened in custom layout is we tied up with a company. What that company is doing is they're hiring the people. Company itself is paying salary to them during training, and the company will hire them. So PD is the only domain where we have relatively more number of people who need jobs. But I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to tell you what is there as a fact. Are the 2 hands-on projects standard or generic or company specific? See, it cannot be company specific, right? Can I get a Qualcomm project and execute here? All right. Next, there is nothing like generic or company specific. Whatever you do in the company, let's say once you join into Qualcomm or Intel, you follow some process. You will set up the project, right? You will be learning the input files. You will be doing floor plan. You will be doing power plan. Do you think will you do something else in Qualcomm? You follow similar process, right? It's just that the complexity of project that you do at Qualcomm is much different compared to the complexity that you do in the institute. That's the only difference. Otherwise, there is no big difference. You will also get the similar concepts because trainers are already working these big projects. What they do is they share their experience, what they learned in, let's say currently he is working on 5 nanometers or 7 nanometer project. What kind of challenges he has faced. We'll be sharing those kind of experiences. It's all you who make the difference. If you sit calm and you don't talk anything, will he teach all those things? No, right? It's the student who make the session interesting. Trainer always comes with a passion to teach because he wants to deliver the knowledge and he wants to make sure that everyone benefits. It's the student who will make the things interesting. If you participate in the discussion and if you do well, he can share a lot of knowledge because all of them are working professionally. It's not like someone who is the employee of the institute is not the one who is going to teach. Someone who is working in Qualcomm, Intel kind of companies is the person who will be teaching. If you ask him, if you make the session interesting, he teaches whatever you need. Next, can we get recorded session of both basic Linux and basics of PD such as floor plan routing if we take up the working professional course? Yes. There is everything is possible in the institute. What is the question? He wants to get the basics of Linux and basics of PD. It is possible. because at the end of the day, all the courses, everything is for the students' convenience. As long as whatever you want doesn't impact the institute, we can do that. Okay, there are many times we have done that because someone doesn't want to do digital design because already he's good with digital electronics. Someone is already good with semiconductor fundamentals because someone is already working in a teaching domain. He has done already CMOS, FinFET, everything. You don't need it. So you can selectively take the basics course and you can take the main course. It is possible. Next. We are almost done with the question and answers. What is the average CTC of an institute in PD? Both PD and C, starting salaries will be almost similar. They don't differ much. Whichever company you take, starting salaries don't differ much. Only differentiation will come if you go into services companies. The average CTC will be 4 lakhs per annum. If you get into a product company, average CTC will be around 8 lakhs per annum. Beyond that, there is no much difference between PD and custom. To start with, starting salary. After 3 years, the salaries might differ. After 3 years of experience, probably PD engineers might be getting little more than custom level. But starting salaries is the range of this. Next, I have currently joined CDAC with my working profile as analog design. I want to take up course of custom layout as it is required for after design process to tape out the design. But after that, I want to switch to PD because of personal interest. So, sir, I also want to get enrolled in PD course, but only after custom layout. Will there be any concession for me? Yes, there will be a concession. If someone takes 2 courses, there will be a fee reduction, of course. I think it pretty much answers. And I just want to clarify on the enrollment process. This is the enrollment process. Okay, you can go to this link, fee transfer, where you can make 5,000 INR payment. And once you have done the payment, you need to fill one form called as enroll. And my suggestion is, if at all you want to enroll, I mean, if you have decided to enroll, please do it by tomorrow, before Tuesday session, because even if you miss 1 or 2 days of training, there is a gap. Like you miss 1 day means you miss almost 3 to 4 hours of training. 2 days means around 6 to 7 hours of training. To cover up that gap, you will find it difficult because the session that happens after that will be based on what has been covered in the previous session. So hence, I suggest, if at all if you have decided to take up the course, please complete your enrollment before tomorrow end of that. I think some more PD is full of mathematics. We are done. EFT. We are almost done. PD doesn't involve much of mathematics and much of calculation. It's a static timing analysis requires good mathematical skills. Physical design engineer won't require much of mathematical skills. It's more of expertise with, the same person has asked this question, more of expertise with the semiconductor fundamentals. Understanding what is BJT, what is MOSFET, what is FinFET, what is second order effect, what kind of issues comes, how to solve that problem. Let's say there is a CMOS latch. In CMOS, when you study CMOS, you will come across some topic called as CMOS latch. It's a problem. How to solve that problem? During the physical design flow, how do you solve that problem? Let's say there is something called as drain induced barrier lowering, DIBL. How do you solve that problem? Hot electron effect. How do you solve that problem? You require that kind of fundamentals. And other than that, you should be good with the tool. Like the trainer would have explained to you that everything is done through the tool, ICC2, design compiler, all those things. So how good are you with the using the tool? I mean, how can you explore the various options and how can you make sure that the whole flow is set up using that? The point is how good you are with using the tool to do the things is what you require as a PD. Next, DFT deals with the coding. No. DFT engineer doesn't require any coding experience. Absolutely no coding, because DFT is a techniques to catch the manufacturing defects. So you don't need much of programming. We will be, if someone is looking for DFT training, the DFT demo is starting at 1:30 p.m. Earlier the plan was 1 p.m. right? But since this session got delayed till 1:20, we'll be starting at 1:30 p.m. So I think we are all done with the questions. See, someone is telling 9:30 a.m. is not suitable. That is where you can attend the Saturday and Sunday sessions. Sunday session, you will get recorded videos to watch over the weekdays. You'll have access to the recorded videos that you can go over the weekdays. But someone is working professional, all the training will happen only on Saturday and Sunday. If you miss, even if you don't attend any weekday sessions, you don't miss any topic. How it works is, all the theory sessions are done on Saturday and Sunday. For working professionals, lab session happens on Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., 2:30 to 6:30. For freshers, same lab sessions will happen Monday to Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 1:30. I mean, it could be 1 p.m. like that. May not be such a long sessions, or around 1 p.m. kind of. So for freshers, labs will happen during weekdays. For working professionals, labs will happen on the weekends. Otherwise, everything else is same. Any other questions? Okay, someone is asking 6 CGPA. Can we get custom layout course? What is the placements? Placements are okay. I mean, again, the same problem with custom layout. Even in custom layout, when company asks, they will ask specifically at least 60%. Even in custom layout, companies have been asking at least 60%. If you have anything less than 60%, you will not get shortlisted. Let me tell you again, if you have less than 60%, better to go for functional verification course. That is where you have a good chance of getting a job. Anything less than 60%, functional verification course is better. Okay. Thank you everyone for taking out time and attending the session. So as I have told you, from the Tuesday, the session will start. The training will start in both online and offline. And any other queries you have, please call the institute number to get the further details. Okay. Thank you. I hope for online students, I have clarified all the doubts. Any other questions you have, please call us on this number. This number, or if you want to talk to me, you can message me, WhatsApp me on this number. Please WhatsApp me. If there is a need, we can go for a call up, so we can talk. Again, the same person is asking 6 GPA PD course. You will not get opportunities. Let me tell you. I told you, right? How many times do we repeat? Because I told that companies specifically asked. I mean, if I show you 10 opportunities in my portal where I got the requirement, they said minimum 60%. If a person has less than 60%, I can't share his profile. But in functional verification, it is happening that companies are okay because they are okay to hire anyone as long as the person is good. They don't go with percentage criteria. Good thing in VLSI is once you start your career, you just get into any job. After 2 years, you can be in very good position. Initial salary also won't matter. So if you want to, if your percentage is less than 60% and you want to start the career, functional verification is better. If you have more than 60% and you are passionate about PD custom layout, then you can go for those specific courses. Okay. We will end the session here. Thank you, everyone.